Why does the US keep on insisting that they funded the Grand Renaissance Dam of Ethiopia? Why is it important for them to prove to the whole world that they funded this project? Hello everyone, welcome back to Global Pulse. Today we take a look at Ethiopia, where they have built a mega project, a hydroelectric dam, which is the biggest in the whole of Africa. This is not just a dam, this is sovereignty, this is independent, and this is for the people. Ethiopia seek for funding from the West, from African Union, and they were rejected. Then it looked at its people, and its people funded this project. This is telling African countries and African head of states that if the project is right, the people will fund it. They don't need to go out and borrow money because the people will fund the project. The Nile is Africa's longest flowing river of over 6,600 kilometers flowing through 11 countries. It's split into two. The White Nile, which begins from Burundi, flows through Rwanda, Uganda, and South Sudan. Then we have the Blue Nile, which originates from Lake Tana in Ethiopia and contributes about 85% of the Nile River. The funny thing is, all this water flows into Egypt, and it provides 90% of Egypt's fresh water supply. For centuries, Ethiopia has watched how colonial masters have separated the water and given its sovereignty to Sudan or Egypt, forgetting the fact that Ethiopia, the water, 85% of the Nile comes from Ethiopia. But things changed in 2011 when Ethiopia came out with a bold vision, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It shook the whole world. Ethiopia went out for funding and was rejected by the IMF, the EU, and even the African Developmental Bank. This is to tell you that the African Developmental Bank is not for Africa. If it was for Africa, it would have provided that funding. They were not asking for all the funding, but the African Developmental Bank rejected to fund the Renaissance Bank, the Renaissance Project. Ethiopia then the government came back to its people and said, this is the project we want to do. This is how it's going to make our lives better. We are looking unto you, the people, to fund this project for us. The people of Ethiopia were excited. Both people in the diaspora and in Ethiopia contributed money. They were crowdfunding left, right, and center. Government bonds were being sold and the people were happy to buy the bonds. And Ethiopia raised the money. It scared the West. How could the people provide funding for this mega project? We rejected them, but their people gave the government the money. That's why the US keep on insisting that they funded this project when they know nothing about the project, when they wanted to silence the project. This project has brought a lot of problems between Ethiopia and Sudan since they both use the Nile as a source of energy. But let's look at it this way. If you're looking at the African map, you would think the Nile flows from Egypt into Ethiopia. But that is the reverse, because water does not flow from north to south, but either from a higher location to a lower location. And Ethiopia is fortunate to be at a higher elevation. 85% of the Nile comes from Ethiopia. The rest comes from the White Nile, from Sudan, and other places. But most of the water resources has been enjoyed by Egypt for centuries of years. We can trace it back to the Bible when Moses turned the Nile red. Why is Egypt panicking? And why is Egypt doing all it can to sabotage this project? 95% of Egypt's fresh water comes from the Nile. They use that for drinking water and also for agricultural purposes. But Egypt is not a poor country. Egypt is a country that can build mega cities, that can relocate their capital. It means they have capital and they have money to collect the Red Sea salty water and turn it into clean, fresh drinking water. But because that is expensive, they prefer to launch a war with Ethiopia or tell Ethiopia to back off. It no longer works like that. The Nile originates from Ethiopia. It's their sovereign right to use it. You're either nice and come in for a deal, or you can stay somewhere and join the bully and keep on bullying. Bullying any country in this century right now is taking you nowhere. We have all seen the effects of tariffs and all the things going on around the world. It takes you nowhere. Yes, Ethiopia doesn't want to sign a deal. It is their sovereign right. The Nile originates from them. I would love for them to sign a deal to make sure that Egypt has fresh water constantly, but Egypt has to be respectful of people's sovereign rights. Nobody has ever come and told Egypt to give them the oil under their soil. No one. So Egypt has no right to tell Ethiopia what to do. Construction started in 2011. The project was awarded to an Italian company called Salini, but they later on changed their name to We Build Group. But then, since this project was funded by the people, the Ethiopian government made sure that the project stayed within the people. Out of the 9,000 people working in the project, 250 were expats. The rest were Ethiopians working in the project. Meaning there was transfer of skills, the resources remained in the government, and it built the community. The project was completed in stages. The first stage was completed in 2020 with no issues. It was filled with no issues. But in 2021, Egypt raised an alarm. They claim it will reduce Nile water flow, especially during drought. But the Nile has two sources, the white and the blue. So even if there's a reduction in water flow, the other sources can make up for it. And also the Red Sea, they can desalinate the Red Sea and use that as drinking water. Egypt is not just opposing this because of water shortages. It's about control and power. Egypt is scared that power in the northern Africa will move over to Ethiopia. They will lose dominance over the region. And the rise of Ethiopia as a regional power scares them. What for? Egypt has been a powerful country since in the days of the Bible. Another country has to come up. Egypt receives $1.3 billion annually from the US. Not for water, but for military aid to protect Israel. They can do something with that money. They can put it somewhere else. But that is the reason why the US keeps on bagging Egypt in this conflict. In 2020, the then president of the US said Egypt has a right to blow off the dam. That's horrible to say. Then in 2025, the president of the US started making claims that the project was funded by the US, that the US spent dollars in funding this project. This foiled the people of Ethiopia because this is their hard-earned money. They have been the ones contributing for this project. They had help just from China at the end of the project. The US does not want China dominance in Africa. It is so scared. We refused to fund this project and China stepped in. And see, China gave the project, gave the money without even being part of building the project. Can you imagine that? Ethiopia, whoever is doing your deals, please, you need to provide classes for the rest of these African presidents. They need to come and learn how to strike deals from you because this is beautiful. This is an excellent strategy. This is what we want to see all African countries doing. We want to do business, but we don't want to do stupid business like what the guy of Congo is doing. That's not business. That is selling out the people. That is giving their soul, their life, their resources, their sweat away for public opinion. This right here is what we call national pride. This right here is why the people of Ethiopia will keep on begging their president, will keep on fighting for their president. Because he is for them, he is for the people. Just by this project. This project is supposed to provide energy independence for Ethiopia. Ethiopia will export the electricity to Sudan, Timbuktu, Kenya, South Sudan, even Electra. It will create economic independence in the Horn of Africa, fostering regional stability. This can lead to the end of all the war going on in the Horn of Africa. This can lead to Sudan being a stable country. This can lead to the fact that the UAE can get out of Sudan and stop stealing their gold. The West doesn't want that. They don't want no stability in Africa. But we, Africa, we are awake. We want stability, we will get stability. So now you see why the US keep on insisting that it is funding this project. The US doesn't want African presidents to know that they can rely on their people, that their people can make it happen for them. They don't want African presidents to know that they can rely on their diaspora population and the population will come up for them. And let's have a hypothetical situation. Let's say in a country like Central African Republic, given the fact that there is a war going on right there right now, let's say the government was a trustworthy government, or even this now government provides a project to build a multi-billion-dollar hospital within the most secure location of the DRC. Let's just say that project, it's where there's no war, nothing, but they don't have money. I guess the people will fund the project. Even, let's go as far as to say, oh, they decided to take money from another country and build their project. But then they don't have doctors. And they just make up a post. The president comes out one day. Yeah, we have this hospital, we have all the equipment, but we don't have specialists. We are looking for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come in and provide surgery for the people of Africa. I bet you there will be medical doctors of all African nationalities, left, right, and center, chipping in on how they can help save the people of Africa from the worst sicknesses. They will do it on their own dime. That I promise you they will do. We just want our presidents to be able to lead us first, show us that you are trustworthy and we will back you up. We don't want puppet masters. We don't want people looking at the West for money. We don't want people selling our children's birthright. We don't want people selling our resources. We want you to use those resources to better our people. If you're bettering the people of Africa will always be for you. It doesn't matter if you're from Uganda, you're from South Africa, it doesn't matter. As long as the project is right, they will be there. Because they know people will come all over Africa for treatment in that hospital and they will be there. But you know what? We prefer to put posters on football players' t-shirts rather than benefit the people. We prefer to fake to the outside world to show that we are stable when we are not stable. Africa is rising. The West is scared, but Africans are not. The people are awake. They are so awake and ready to take over their country. Thank you for watching Global Pulse. You have yourself a good day.